is. So, how you
That's
been?
awesome.
How's practice been?
Great. Good. Yeah, it's a little bit on and off just because of, the
Yeah,
new kid
yeah.
is
Of course. Congrats, by the
switched
way.
up the schedule a little bit. Oh, thank you. And I did your brother have his baby you
Yes,
said?
yes. He was like 2 weeks ago. Yep.
Awesome.
But
Congrats.
which
How'd that go?
thanks. Fine. Apparently, really, really, really smooth. So it's been.
Oh,
She's great.
sweet.
So it's been going really well. So thanks for asking. I appreciate
Very
it.
cool.
How about you? How's the
Awesome.
transition been?
Oh, good. Yes. Yeah, she's doing pretty good.
Good
So
stuff.
it's just a little bit, a little bit taxing on the sleep schedule, that's all, but it's
Yep.
nothing I haven't done before, so.
Yeah. Old news at this point here. Okay.
Exactly.
Doomfist time. Yeah. Still.
Yep. Unfortunately,
No, that's fortunate. I love Doomfist. It's my favorite
he,
coaching hero.
oh,
So
really?
yeah. Doomfist is fine.
Yeah, he's incredibly fun, and also I was talking to my wife about it, and I was like,
Yeah.
I said, I think some of the reason, I said, can I be totally honest with you? I said, I think my ADHD is so bad that I can't handle the support queue times. Like,
I
it,
mean that's just I think a moment of honesty that I think a lot of us aren't there yet. Like I think that there's a reason why Rivals puts it such a priority on short queue times is that we underrate
right.
how important that is. I think for most people. So I don't think you're in the minority there at all. I think most of us are just not so honest about it.
Yeah, and one thing that's like kind of frustrating to me, to be totally honest, um, is that like I think I've played probably like the tenth of the games I've played on tank on support, and like I climbed into Masters 4 pretty easily on
Yep.
support, and it's
Yeah.
like it wasn't like super hard for me, and
No,
so
I
that was like
agree. Yeah.
frustrating to me because I was like, damn, I really wanted to do this on Doom, that's
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
like
Yeah. Yeah.
that's
Well,
frustrating, and so I'm
support
like,
players
is
are
it that much
boosted.
harder? I guess I
It
don't
is.
know.
It is harder. Yeah. The support
It,
players are
it is
boosted.
harder, and
It is harder.
like, is
Well,
that something you found?
so here's how the game works. Okay, so like you have the percentage of the player base, right, that plays the game. Like you have 100 people that are going to play Overwatch. Okay, 33 of them go tank, 33 of them go DPS, 33 of them go support. Okay, the more mechanically oriented players are going to naturally gravitate towards damage and tank, right?
Hmm.
Just by the appeal of the role, right? Based off of what
Okay.
we think it does. So then you have the other 33 who are probably more likely to be appealed by like the play style or like the philosophy of what support does. But unlike real life, the supporting considerate, I'm helping, putting other people's priorities over myself. I've got good people skills, good emotional intelligence. You don't need
Hmm.
any of that to play a good support player. In fact, it's way more valuable oftentimes to be a little bit more proactive, to be a little bit more aggressive, to be a little bit more just traditional first-person shooter skills. And so what ends up
Right.
happening is that the people that naturally gravitate to the support role have fewer of those skills that ironically would help them to do better in their role. So then you have people that play tank or damage, especially tanks like Doomfist, go and try support and like, oh my gosh, I'm dominating this role because you're basically competing with people that don't know how to play shooters.
Right. Yep. That makes a
So
lot of sense.
so basically if you were to put like if the ceiling of support I think is as high as any other role, right? You see that with a top level. I mean, I've coached top level support players, and we were one of those moments where, like, Backbone back in Overwatch League Season 5 goes in Yada, does a halfway decent job of it as a DPS player. But you put Backbone compared to Shu, it's not even close, right? There's a certain
Hmm.
level of Ana play or things that are unique to that character like Chio and Lucio, right? Like you can't put a DPS on Lucio and expect them to play like that. Like that does
Right.
take it on. Same thing with Brigitte and honestly even character a little bit to an extent like characters like Mercy. It was really funny. There were brief times where Mercy was useful to have, and it was hilarious how bad even support players were at Mercy, movement wise. But as a ranked casual experience, you're automatically coming in with more game sense, more mechanics, more understanding of cooldown management, more understanding of map control, more understanding of angles, more understanding of ult economy. Almost every skill in Overwatch, you learn better by playing tank and DPS. And it's not just the support role as a whole, it's also some of the support characters are incredibly bad at teaching you game fundamentals. Whereas most tank and DPS characters do a better job of that. So Yeah.
Right.
The
Like
reality of
maybe
the
like even
situation
like
is,
Kiri,
yeah,
right? Like
Kiriko
it's
is
like
much better, right? Kiriko
it
much better.
encourages.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
and in some ways, I feel like though Kiriko could encourage like bad positioning, right, or not learning that, I
Well,
suppose, because you have
yeah.
kind
So
of
this
the jump
the problem with
recharge.
Kiriko is that you're not punished for your mistakes directly; they're indirect loss. So like when you
Right.
teleport out of an angle, you're now a total waste of space. But a Kiriko player might feel like they're still being useful, but they're not. And
Mm.
so like you'll lose the fight, but think that it's not your fault. You know, that's one of those moments. That's why characters like An and Zenyatta probably feel a bit better because you feel your mistakes. You know, it's like a Winston, right?
Mm.
You feel your error. Tracer, right? You feel your mistakes most of the time. So there's a more consistent gameplay feedback loop. But yeah, all that being said, like Doomfist is a really good character to learn other characters because he's very mechanically and cooldown management demanded. But that means that you're going to probably play support and be like, man, why am I not this good with Doomfist? The reality is that you are and better, but you're playing an easier role.
Right. That makes a lot of sense. And is that why, like, how come, how come the leaderboard always finishes higher on like support than on tank and DPS, especially tank? Tank sometimes is like mid masters or like masters 4.
It might be the number of people playing the role. I'm honestly not too sure. That's where some of the mathematics around like the leaderboard come into play, and that's would be a question for like Gavin Winter or some other top 500 grinder. I honestly don't know.
Okay.
Yeah. Question since last time. It's not been that long, but I'm sure some stuff has come up. Maybe not. General stuff, Doomfist specific stuff. It's been about a month.
Yeah, I think it's going okay. I have most unfortunately I've been like one win away from Masters like
Yep.
3 times,
Yep.
and I just can't quite get it to happen. And so I'm
Sure.
just like floating in Diamond 1, sometimes Diamond 2, and
Sure.
so I think I'm getting a lot better at the things that we talked about. Um, it's just a progression, and honestly, sometimes I struggle to practice appropriately, I think.
How so? I mean, apart from your current life situation, right? But how so?
Oh, right, yeah. But other than that, I think that I don't know if I struggle to focus too much on the individual like objectives. So say like focusing on positioning, right?
Yeah.
I think I'm okay. I think I'm just frustrated with the amount of time that it's taking.
Yeah.
And so I feel like something must be wrong, right? Because I'm
Yeah.
like, man, I'm dedicating time. I'm playing so consistently. I'm practicing individual things, looking at replay codes, and I'm like, man, I'm
Yeah.
only like, and I know it seems like it might be like, oh, any progress is good progress, but it's just frustrating when you're like
Yeah.
one rank up a season, it's
Right,
like, oh my
right,
God,
right, right, right. Well,
it's a
I mean,
slog.
by one rank up, you mean like one tier or like
Yeah,
a
sorry, like
full
one tier, like I'll
Diamond
be
2 to
like,
Diamond 1 to Diamond 1 to Masters 5. I see what you're saying. I mean,
exactly.
you're getting progressively to the point to where like more and more is going to be demanded of you, right? Like if I pull up my like playtime chart and I would ask like what does it take to beach Masters, it's going to be at least 2 hours, 5-6 days a week, consistent warm up, tight hero pool, good mental training habits, right?
Hmm.
And so what you need to do is you need to kind of measure yourself up to that and be like, where am I doing well? Where am I not doing so well? Right? And maybe you're doing all of it well. Maybe it's some external or outside factor that we haven't quite sorted out yet, or maybe something has clicked, or maybe what you're doing is fine. Because remember, outcomes are a lagging measure of your current input, right? Like it's
Right.
never what you're doing right now never showcases. It's always where you are rank wise right now is a reflection of what you did 2, 3, 4, and 5 weeks ago, right? So let's just check the boxes. Sometimes the
Sure.
easiest answer is obvious. What's your consistency been like on playtime per day per week?
I think I'm actually pretty decent with consistency. Like, obviously recently it's been a bit scattered, but like I typically get a couple hours in at night,
Okay.
um, like up to
Okay.
3 hours in at
Okay.
night, and then I'll play like sometimes just long stints if I have time on the weekends.
Sure. Sure. That's hit or miss. Long stints don't help you all that much in the long run, sadly. It's
Okay.
it's essentially comes to the point where it's just severe diminishing returns kick in, and especially when you're playing two, which is later at night. Because at that point in time you're
Yeah.
just more fatigued, so the quality of your output's a lot lower. So longer stints are, if anything, negative unless you're strictly playing just for fun or off-rolling or whatever, right?
Right.
So that's one thing to consider right now. Like when I was really serious about ranking up, I played early afternoon or late morning every single time. That's probably not an option for you, right? It isn't an option for most people, but it is the optimal way to improve and the optimal way to climb. So for you, it would be like, okay, maybe I play at later at nights because that's where I'm at, but I understand my quantity of output is probably going to be a little bit lower than the average player. So you actually probably need to be careful about those longer stints, about your mentality going into those longer stints, even if it is a weekend.
How so? Like, what should the mentality be?
Well, it's the same thing. The
Or
reason
you're
why
just
you
saying
don't.
expectations? I
Well,
guess.
both, really, actually, yeah. So expectations first off, but then also how you're training, right? Like if you have, oh, I don't have work tomorrow, so I'm going to grind 4 or 5 hours until 1 a.m. That's going to probably be a negative thing, not a positive thing, because of how the quality of that work is going in and how it could accidentally reinforce bad habits.
Interesting. Okay. Right.
Like
Yeah, that could make sense.
You know,
Right.
every decision that you make is reaffirming what kind of person that you are. And so when you are the type of person that hard grinds, it's not just the type of person that doesn't focus. It's also you're reinforcing that, I don't always try every game. That's not something you want to reinforce if you're serious about improving. So
That makes sense.
again, I think it's a really tricky thing with the video game because what it is it's like sometimes we just want to play the game, but that's why I think it's really important that you segregate mentally. Whether that's on an alt account, whether that's off-rolling, whether that's quick play, whether that's whatever you want to do, having some line that you draw either literally or mentally about, okay, this is now fun time. I've done my hour and a half of 2 hours of sweat work. Now I'm going to just have a good time. You go on my alt and just practice silly rollouts, play high risk, high reward, or, climb to GM1 on support, apparently, like whatever you want to do, that's fine. But the hard work is there and then the rest is done. The way that I like to look at it is it's like if you were training for, an athletic sport or a competition, you'd have specific training hours. Then if you just wanted to play for fun and screw around, that's fine. But you wouldn't want to train for 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 hours,
That makes sense. And I think too, one thing I just thought of that I could potentially do too is I could play less Doom with friends. Like if friends get on, we're just such a wide match that I think that it might not be super healthy to play
I agree.
Doom because
Yeah,
I'll
I
still play
agree.
Doom and I that's bad habits. I can do ridiculous things.
Yeah. No, I agree. And I don't like even, honestly, I don't know if maybe this is just me, but I always hated playing my mains with friends because I always felt like I had to do everything for us to win the game. And I was like, ugh. And it really does train bad habits, right? It really does. Like you just want to play and you want to give the enemy team respect. But when you go in and you're playing super respectful around the enemy Ana, who's probably silver, all of a sudden it's like, what am I really practicing at this point? Right. Yeah, exactly. Yep. So just play Wrecking Ball or Hog or something, just have a good time. And then that will take, and the thing is that that will not take away, that won't take away from your skill on Doomfist. That will instead will keep Doomfist in its separate, sweaty, try-hard position and then let yourself still enjoy the game with friends and still be able to play socially, right? I think that's really important.
Okay, that's a good idea. I can implement that. That's a good thought.
Mm-hmm. This is what I'm talking about, right? This is where often the answer is not super complex, in-game stuff. It's usually how you're approaching it. Sleep, obviously, that's not been so good recently, I imagine, at least compares to normal. That's another factor you have to consider. I had a really good question from one of my old friends, one of my old students, and he was asking me about how do you tell when you shouldn't train that day because of your attitude or sleep or whatever.
Sure.
And it's a really impossible question to answer because you have to do it. It takes a lot of experience to know. So for me, the analogy I would say, my experience with fitness training has always been kind of the same kind of difficulty. How hard should I train today considering I slept terribly or I have a lot of work or I'm injured? And that just takes a lot of experience, right? But that should be something that you should factor in. I almost never skip a day. And I think the same thing applies to Overwatch. You should almost never skip a day if you can train. However, how many games that you play is a really important question you should ask yourself. It might literally be one game on a really bad day or a really bad night.
Okay.
It might literally be one game of Doomfist, and then everything else is just relax. It might be 7, 8, right? But knowing your limits and really practicing towing around that is like the most important thing that you can possibly do with your training time.
Makes sense.
If you're sleeping consistently and have a consistent mentality, then you can train consistently. If you're not, then you need to adapt your training to your demands. Beyond that, I mean, I think that's probably where most of your problems are come in, because I think especially with Doomfist demands full attention at all times. Most characters in Overwatch have some of that quota, but I think Doomfist is near the top. You cannot half AFK brain with Doomfist.
Yep.
And I learned that pretty darn
true.
fast. I learned that pretty darn fast with post-rework Sombra. I learned that pretty fast with the initial release of Venture. Like, these are characters that I could just flow state and dominate a lobby, but if I just let any of the foot off the gas, I'm just instantly useless. So that's kind of where you need... It's great. It's why you play the character. But that's kind of where you need to be in that headspace when you're training with the character. Otherwise, it's just not going to work.
It is unbelievable. Like, I find that, like, Doom's one of those characters too where, like, yeah, when you're on, it's almost like a Widow. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Like,
yes.
you just dominate
Yes.
a lobby. But if you're having an off day, like, and that's why I found that he's like way more swingy than other characters. Like, I'll like lose 5 and then like win 10. You know, like it's just so swingy.
What is ironic is that I actually think he's the most one-trickable tank in the game in terms of map flexibility. Not necessarily enemy hero, like he can be countered, but like he is very solid on every map type, on every map in the game. He's the only dive tank that feels good in Circuit Royale consistently. He can play sniper maps. He can play short-range brawl maps. Like, you don't just get run over by Reinhardt's like a lot of the other dive tanks do. He's just great. He's good in Flashpoint. He's good in push. He's just amazing. But the spectrum of mental output demanded, like you said, it's a lot. It is a lot. It's more so than any other tank. So a lot of his inconsistency is not maps as it is with most characters. It's actually you're the variable, which is really tough. Something else to consider as well. Last little thing here. Where was I going with this? I don't know where I was going with this. It's there. I'll make the connection in like 5 minutes from now at the worst possible time. So.
Yep. No worries. Is it last point? Widowmaker, Doomfist, map pools.
No, it was something earlier about his skill output and consistency or something like that. I'll remember it later, I'm sure. So if I don't, it was probably the one thing you needed to hear to hit like top 500.
Yeah.
You're just never gonna hear it. So.
Oh god.
Oh, I was going to say this. You're at a point in time, this isn't like where you have to ask more of yourself quality-wise, because you can kind of play AFK brain when you're new to a game or new to a character, because every action that you do is learning. But that's not the case with Doomfist anymore, right?
Yep.
Like, you've explored every basic of this character, and so now everything has to be done with a lot more intention, because you are really squeezing every drop of juice you can out of the orange, you know, so...
Okay, that makes sense.
Anything else?
And I think, like, when you start to play the game, I feel like it kind of like slows down a bit as you get better. It's like kind of weird to say, but like, as you keep playing, all of the micro kind of handles itself. You know, like your tank matchups kind of handle themselves.
You automate so much of the decision making, right? So that there's a lot of open space. Yeah, there's a lot of open space.
And then what you're thinking about is like, where do I go? You know, like, how do I hold this area? Like, what's our team comp type of thing? It's like so much slower.
Yeah, frees up space to be strategic, because you don't have to sweat about the details, and that's why Overwatch can go from being a very overwhelming game to a very simple game once you're able to get to that point. But you do have to get to that point.
Yeah. Yep. No, I don't think I have a ton else except for, like, I just want to figure out how to improve my, like, I don't know. I want to focus on, you know, like, what I can do to improve the quality of my playtime. It's probably foolish of me. I just feel like I'm like, the mistakes are in the game somewhere. Like, I just gotta find the mistakes in the game, but I probably should be focusing on the quality of my playtime more.
See, that's the simple thing. That's
the
like
trap.
It's always like really easy, and this is something that I realized, like, even going at like the professional level, like London Spitfire 2021 was like the perfect example for me always, where it's like, and even Uprising Academy, like where the reality is that like we could sit there and analyze the strategy and exactly we always knew. So the thing is with that season, we always knew what was going wrong. Like it was a timing thing, or we screwed up our cooldown usage, or like we resorted back to bad habits. Like we always knew what the problem was. We just couldn't fix it because it was an environmental training situation, whether it was mentality or a remote or, bad, no motivation or whatever the case may be. But it's always like when you slow the game down, literally the difference between the top level Overwatch League player and a mid or even bottom level Overwatch League player about knowing what to do is actually not that big. But them not being able to do it in the moment is the key thing. And a lot of that is a reflection of their habits and how they approach the game. So the reality is that we're going to go through this. We're probably going to highlight some similar stuff, but we got to get you in the right headspace. Now, I am open to live coach this as well. So it's really whatever you would like to do today.
Sure. Yeah, I'm up for whatever.
Okay.
I do have, if we can totally do live coaching. I do have one replay code I would love to look at because I think it's good content.
I think we'll have time.
Okay, cool. Yeah, sounds
we got like
good.
50 minutes, so.
I probably won't be good, like super good, considering my sleep,
my
current sleep amount. But we'll make it work.
That's all right. That's all right. That's all right.
Okay, so I got a good replay code for you here. So I typically I play a session and then I'll try to take do you know there's a site OW Replays? It is super good. If you haven't seen it, it's owreplays.tv. Hold on, actually, can I share my screen for half a second?
Go for it.
So,
this is weird.
What?
I'm looking at this website. I never heard of this.
Oh, dude. So I can't believe you haven't heard of this. Okay, so what you do is, you literally you hit upload. You put in your title, you throw in your replay code, and the guy's got a script that automatically records your entire gameplay from your perspective and dumps it in a VOD and puts it here.
Wait, so it's like OBS Sojourn kind of a thing here, where they take the so it's just a YouTube thing.
Yeah, it just boots it up, and so this keeps track of all your losses. I've been doing this for a long time.
So does it track your wins, losses? Is it just in case there's a replay code wipe? What's the?
Yeah, it's mostly for replay code wipes, and it's also something that I find really helpful, and I think that other people would find super helpful because it's free unless you want to pay for high queue time priority, so it gets your video really fast, and then all you do is you put in your videos or you put in your VODs, and what I find helpful is that typically if I'm at my computer, I'm oh, I want to play games, right? But sometimes you're not in a good headspace because you just want to get to the next game. So I dump all my codes in here, and then I'll go out, and then I can be on my phone and then just watching my VODs while I'm sitting there. I can just be panning through my VODs.
It helps for self-review when you're split. I see.
Really, really helpful for stuff like that because you're busy doing something, or you're on the road, or you're in the car, right? You can just be panning through your VODs, and that way you have a ton more patience for it because you're not just I'm trying to get to the next game. I just want to get to the next game. I have so much patience to watch it.
Right. This is interesting. So yeah, I think the biggest thing would be that you're just able to kind of quickly dump the replay code and get it uploaded first. That's crazy. This must be automated, I guess, but that's still pretty cool.
Yeah. He literally, apparently the guy has it set up where it boots up Overwatch, plays it, records it, and dumps it into the VOD.
Wow. Okay. Cool.
Yeah. It's pretty sick. But anyway, so long story short, I try to grab replay codes and I try to dump them in here, and then I'll go watch them. Especially now if I'm holding my kid, I'll put them on the TV and just watch them. So I did that just 4 days ago. I got replay codes of losses, dumped them on the TV, started watching them back and seeing what was going on, and then I pulled up the replay code, and my wife was like, "Is that Emongg on the other team?" And I was like, "Oh no, it's probably just an account with the same name." And I was like, well, it's technically possible since he's off-rolling. And so I went and checked his stream, and he was in the game. And it was
That's crazy. What role is he on?
It was so fun to watch. He was on DPS. He was playing Tracer.
That's cool.
And it was so fun to watch him play against me and see kind of what it looked like from his perspective.
That's cool.
And so I had a ton of fun, and I just kind of wanted to go over it. And unfortunately, we lost. But one thing that I did learn from that, by the way, that I thought was really fun, was it's the top code there, by the way. I just sent to you. One
Okay.
thing I did learn from that I thought was super interesting to me was like they were like hard calming the whole game, and like I just have like voice and text chat muted just because like
Yeah.
um people don't love Doomfist players a lot of times.
Yeah, I'd say
So I
he's
kind of
in
stay out.
bottom 5 of characters. I think Wrecking
Yeah.
Ball, Widowmaker, sometimes Mercy. People do
Yep.
not like playing those
I
characters.
feel
So
bad. I just like I don't want to like. I just feel like it's like better if I just stay out for my
yeah,
mental.
I agree.
But anyway, I what I thought was super interesting is they talked about like I don't realize how much they talk about the tank. Like almost all the callouts are on me. That didn't realize like how much space the tank takes up in their brain, and I was like, oh my
Yep.
god, if I just focus on living more, like they're constantly looking for me and like
Mhm.
talking about my statuses, like
Mhm.
cooldown
Yeah.
status. It's
Yeah.
crazy.
It's annoying, isn't it?
Yeah, I know.
but
It feels like
what you
they're
can
all out to get me, which is
But
kind of fun. But
it is. You can use it. I mean, we've had this conversation before, right? Like, if you are comfortable with being the main character, then you will win a lot of games because you will appreciate and respect the amount of attention that they give you, and then your team will capitalize off of it. But it does mean that you're more of can be a bit of a martyr, right? And so it is what it is. Okay, let's take a look here. Obviously, we'll kind of go in with some expectations. I want to look back at some of our notes from previous stuff, which was a lot of it. The choke stuff, I remember we talked about a lot, like setting up your
yep.
angles. I think the big thing was Empowered Punch Ultimate kind of used to emphasize an already good engagement and not necessarily and using that to just cheat the system. But yeah, okay. I'm not frankly expecting significant improvement on any category, so we will be repetitive, but briefly repetitive. I won't sit and hammer at it, over and over and over again, because you probably will know it when you see it. I don't hate that too much. It wasn't too long of a commitment for you to go back, but obviously always have to be careful when you do go back because of the space that you give, right? Nice. Definitely would go for Soldier there. Definitely. If you hit the punch or not, you force more cooldowns and have a better chance of actually a favorable cooldown trade by taking the squishy because the squishy's closer. Right, so just target priority question.
I should have. I think the thought was that like I was scared. I didn't realize how many people were top right. I thought there were going to be more people over there on the left, and so that was my mistake for like not knowing where they were because I could have gone for them.
Good. So here's going to be your challenge because we've worked together many times. I'm going to say this is bad, and then you're going to give me context about your thought process into that decision, and so we can actually get to the root cause analysis a lot faster. Because with a newer student, I would have to go, why did you make that mistake? We have to go, but you and I've got that. We've worked together. You can just tell me, hey, this is why I did it, right? So.
Okay.
And I'm not. I won't be like, stop making excuses. It's like it's fine. I want to know. I want to know the excuse. So.
Okay.
Okay. This is fine. She's right there. Get her out. Sure. Kind of force the Weaver out a little bit. So this is where it just, again, it feels like there's just big resource commits to go super, super deep. There's too much peeling happening here. Now, what I wouldn't mind here is if you see D.Va do this and just short punch her into the wall, just while you're here. Take a favorable cooldown trade, stunner, knock her out of armor, slam out in your angle, and so on, right? That way it doesn't put you both cooldowns in the hole and completely out of the choke, allowing the backline to walk forward. This is just such a heavy commitment. And immediately as this space is vacated, 4v5 or not, it's immediately filled with the entire backline, such that even though the D.Va is killed, there's really no way for you to retake this space. And you can just see it right there, right? Like you try to go in like, oh my days, I'm getting murked, right? So was this fight winnable or not? No, but I would have liked at least a little bit more of a fighting withdrawal from you rather than just, I'm going to full peel tank and then see what happens from there. So there's just been a couple instances of giving space up completely to chase something. Sometimes it's Tracer, who's only one slam away, and I can live with that. But sometimes it's D.Va, and it's both cooldowns all the way over here, and every time it's been filled by a tank. So that's just a tendency for you to be aware of, and this is where maybe you can kick in and be like, why am I doing this, right?
I don't know. I think the reason I did it is because like my I guess my mindset on peeling is like it's only worth it if you 100% are sure you're gonna get the kill, if and it's a really valuable kill. And
Sure.
so I saw the diva peel out or like go deep with the
Hmm.
tracer, and I was like I was very confident at that moment that we could get the diva
Yeah.
because she went so deep.
Yeah.
And so like I don't know that it was a good trade, and I literally thought about it in the moment. I was like, did I peel too hard there? And I'm like, I don't know because I got the kill. And like I think sometimes sometimes tanks like they don't expect you to peel on Doom, so sometimes it can be really surprising. I'll find
Sure.
like I kill a lot of monkeys and divas that way, especially
Sure.
because
Sure.
like you were talking about like how like I'm always so resistant to punch tank,
Yep.
or like and so sometimes I'll find that I could just shock them, like surprise them so
Sure.
much by just.
Sure.
But I don't know that it's the right move.
Well, let's put it this way. When you can tell me that I can guarantee through my support alone, we're going to be able to get this kill. Otherwise, it wouldn't happen.
Mhm.
Is it worth giving up the space? Yeah, possibly. You lose space for one man advantage? Maybe. Sure. But you have to make sure that it's worth it in terms of you're going to secure the kill. And you also have to think if it wasn't for my contributions, they wouldn't die. Because the problem if you kill an overextending Winston, whatever, then maybe he would have died anyway, right?
It
So
would die anyway. Right.
you never know for sure, but this one was borderline. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, I agree. Yep. I think I probably could have gone away with just tap punching her and going back to try to zone the backline.
Careful about pincering yourself here. So in terms of when you're retaking the space, always better to kind of come from the periphery, whether that be left or right. So for this here, what two ways could you take space here?
Slam stairs by Anna on the right.
Slam stairs by Anna, approaching from this angle here. Yep.
Yeah.
Or
I could just, I would be comfortable just slamming left corner, like all in the left corner,
yep,
inside
just
the,
here.
right there.
Yep. And then take the engagement from here. Yep, you got it. And you know why that's the case, I assume, right? Just keep everything on your screen. You still have cover. There's no threats that are behind you. That kind of thing. It's really, really important. And this is one of those punches that were like, in terms of, avoiding the tank trade, right? This is fine. This is fine. Like, it's awkward because, you're kind of low, but like like, look at her HP, right? As a result of that punch, right?
Yep.
Like, she is, chunked, and you took very little as a result. So, in addition to that, you still were able to hold your angle here, and this is, like, perfect, right? Like, look at what this Divas had to do to commit to this far, so even though you're Brig fed, and then now look at the position that you have, and what you're able to do with that, right? This is awkward, but this is always going to be awkward with CC on the battlefield. I'm looking at this here. I think the only thing that we can hindsight here is if you knew that this guy was here, this would have been an easier engagement.
I didn't.
So, yeah, it's fine. But, like, without Slam and with Pedal on the battlefield, this is tough. This is always going to be tough, right?
Yeah, I think one thing I could have maybe done better is like I could have maybe I'm too committed to like the nanoed punch has to hit someone. I could have just tap punched over the Ana and started headshotting her. Like
Yeah.
I charged it for so long when I know.
Yeah, I mean,
nobody's
I think that
me.
was kind of what you did here, but this is where you can tap punch, use the cover, bait her sleep dart. Because remember, the tap punch increases your time, or the nano increases your time to kill, which also means that they have to respond so much faster. Right, so it's like a nano Genji can always deflect first into an Ana. You get what I'm saying? Because because she's gonna have to shoot the sleep dart, otherwise she dies. Right, so it's like you can kind of use that against her and not feel like, oh, I'm on a timer, I'm on a timer, I gotta go now. No, actually you don't. You actually just can scare the cheeks out of them and then just win the fight as a result. So either way, I think this fight was probably lost because you were down 2 immediately, but this was fine. Your initial setup here in terms of like the diva punch and then looking for Ana, this is okay.
I really like that point though. I actually never thought about that. The point about like a Genji, and I know that instinctively, but like a Genji can deflect, has the luxury of deflecting like immediately because Ana has to go for the sleep. Like there's no option.
And it's the same thing when you have empowered punch too, right? Like an empowered punch just means they have to go, whether it's ult or empowered punch, they do have to respond much more aggressively. So you can kind of play the mind games with them there.
Play that with patience to your advantage. Okay. Yep. I like that. That's good.
I don't love this engage because again it just feels like a little bit pincered again, right? Like looking at where you are, this is just not where I want to be. ever if I can avoid it. So this is one of those moments where it's like the ultimate, I think, is swaying your decision making. How should you approach this engagement? You tell me from here.
I probably should just slam them. Slam them tuck right in the corner.
Yep,
I think
yep.
that's fine.
General approach is just kind of harass stuff from here, and then you shove them into here, and then maybe you rotate out to here. Maybe you deepen and flip her out here. Yeah, exactly. Again, it's just don't get yourself in the middle here, because this just feels so incredibly bad. Like you can almost feel the ult that's about to happen, like right now. Right, like what you didn't even get a chance to, right? It just was poorly set up. So just wrap around, play your angles, play the clock, like we used to say. That's something I coach Tracer players, but really it applies to any character, and especially to mobile characters, because with mobile characters you have the freedom to make mistakes, and as in you're going to make a lot more mistakes positionally. This is just block sooner. Nobody's there. And this is one of those moments, right? So you're going to hit her. You know what she's going to do, right? You know what's going to happen from this Weaver. You know what's going to happen with this Ana. Abuse that. Yeah, sure. Yeah, sure. Sure. I get it. It's fine. High risk, high reward. But yeah. Okay. You got what you needed. So hug that wall, hug that wall. Too much in the open here. So just full commit to either side. Disengage, sure. Massive anti-nade. Good punch.
Oh, look at that.
That's
look at
really
that diva
unfortunate.
get kicked out.
That's so unfortunate. We wanted that kill so badly.
Yeah.
Good. Use the corner here. Nice punch. That's not easy to do. Yeah, this is good. Yep, just holding the angle here. Oh, that sucks. Feels bad. Should still be okay, though. Yeah, good stuff. Alright, Quaked.
Honestly, I could have stayed there, probably got bomb, and then...
You could have. You could have. You could have. Yeah, the reason I haven't said as much, because, yeah, this has been like, okay, sure. It's fine. Holding cover, holding angle, cooldown cycling, and whatever it was close. This is fine. Can punch that. Again, I don't mind this one, quote-unquote, peeling as much. Why? What's the difference between this and stuff we've seen earlier?
I think it's decently close.
Yeah, that's it. That's it.
Pretty
It's
helpful. I don't give
close.
up a lot of space. Like, I'm still in the corner, so...
That's it, yeah. Definitely punch Diva here. Sooner. So basically, let's put it this way. So like once you're here, this all of a sudden feels a little bit more uncomfortable. So this is where you could then, okay, I need to rotate back to point. Or if you're gonna use your ult here, this is where you'd want to like threaten and play mind games with the Ana instead of going back to the Diva. So you kind of need to commit here. Do I play honestly and just trade on point, or do I commit to the angle here? Because this is gonna get your ult forced without feeling super good about it. It's a good punch, but I actually don't think you need to do this. First off, doesn't need to be as much rush, but you don't need to slam out of this because she doesn't have sleep dart. Right, exactly. So you can kind of shoot, slam, shoot, use your empowered punch. That being said, this is hilarious. Yeah, that is rude. Nice. That's a nice little punch there, actually. That was huge. Big free recall there. Good stuff. Get him. Oh, that sucks. Wait. Oh, nice. That's good.
Once or twice, I looked at that Ana when she had the pulse on her, and if I had a cooldown, I would have tried to get a punch off her.
There's something really morbid about like I'm farming punch off of your dead body, you know. Yeah, this is fine.
Yeah, that's messed up, man.
Too far, tank trade.
Yeah,
too far tank trade. Yeah, maybe not intentional, but yeah, still. So that's ironically where now it's like you could have quote unquote peeled the brig by putting more pressure on the Diva. Yep. So that's kind of puts you in a bad hole. So that's kind of a goof up there. A lot of it has been really don't pincer yourself, take the trade that's available to you. Because I think the cooldown cycling in general, cooldown use has been okay. Like, it's nothing super fancy. I will say, like, very, 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 very minor detail, which might be changed as of tomorrow. I don't think that you chose the right minor perk. I don't think it matters all that much, but I do think that the reload makes a little bit more sense because people are like, oh, but you never get the full reload ever. You don't need the full reload. It's like 2 or 3 free bullets almost every single time you use Bunch, which is niche, but it's more consistently applicable.
Okay.
Your mileage may vary, but I would prefer the more consistent damage output than occasionally having 25 more HP.
Right. Okay.
It's not that big of a deal, and it might change tomorrow because I think honestly both of them are pretty mid. But yeah, I mean, this has been okay, minus the last couple of fights, and there's been some mistakes here, but like this has also been tricky because like your team has been dead, basically just gotten traded for no reason. First fight, like 5 or 6 fights in a row. Like you guys have been 4v5ing almost that entire round, and you still almost won it. So that's pretty impressive.
I think too. One thing I could have done better at the end of that is, I think I played so aggressively because I think I played really aggressively, and I should have known that I think we had support ults coming online. And
Sure.
I think if I had just played really slow there, I think that would have gone way better in our favor.
Yeah, sure. I mean, that's definitely a factor to consider as well. I mean, like, but like, okay, so you don't actually have support ults quite yet, but I guess my point being is that even if that were the case,
they were also like
even if that
there,
were
so.
right. Well, the thing is even if that were the case, the play is still to tank trade diva, right? Your setup is good.
100%.
You're on an off angle or tracer, right? Like either one of these would have been totally fine, but you need to take what's given to you and not force it. Whether that's peeling on diva or ironically going on Ana. Like there's been a little bit of both, and a lot of pincering in between as well. Like even here, it's because you didn't tank trade. Look at your positioning right now, right? Like where are you supposed to mitigate damage from here? There's nowhere, right? So which means then HP melts, right? And like there's just nowhere for you to go. So yeah, it's not an accident that those things kind of coincide with each other.
Absolutely.
It's really like I would say poetic. That's not the right term. It's like a ballet. Like everything is so deliberate and placed well, like and stepped out and measured, and there's a choreography really to it. And I don't mean necessarily in terms of like the fancy combos, but like there is with Doomfist more often than not more objectively correct plays in terms of how you position yourself, and less to do with cooldowns. Like it's more about this is the correct position to do, and then kind of how you want to interpret that with cooldowns is kind of where you personally interpret your artistic skill. I've been watching too many video essays. Like if you can you tell? But yeah, like for example, like right now, like your next step in rotation is probably something like this. Why? Because you're deepening your angle, and you need cover. But if you went here, you'd get pincered, or if you went here, you'd get pincered, or you'd get slapped, and so on. So you're kind of deepening your space, and then from here, this is where you can decide: do I want to go in deeper, the higher risk? Do I want to punch back on tracer? Do I want to just hold the corner and just be passive and shoot the tracer or shoot the backline and hope my team can win the 4v2? That's where you interpret what you want to do with Doomfist. Now I know you, so you're going to peel, right? But I want to clarify that wasn't a bad play necessarily, because you still look at how you force the backline to maneuver around your positioning.
Yeah, and I think I was scared that like I felt like if I went in there, I wasn't sure if I would survive. I didn't know my tracer was on the left. Now I'm looking at it like, I wonder if we could have just traded back.
It's also where you go, too. Like, if you punch in, where do you end up? If you punch in here, maybe we're okay. If you punch through, ironically, and miss completely, maybe we're okay. But it's because of where you're ending, right?
Yeah.
But if you just punch Weaver, yeah, you might be screwed. You might be getting pincered right in the middle. So I agree with this. Like, you held the angle, you kept the backline honest. You're not really... Your backline should be able to... I mean, this lane is free, right? Outside of that tracer, which you almost hit, right? I see. That's okay. That's the peeling that I can live with, because you're not giving up space to do so, right? But, you know... Backline dies instantly, and there we go. Diva Tracer dive really should not be getting that much. That's kind of irritating me. I don't know what this Brigitte... I don't want to look at this Brigitte POV is all I'm going to say. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, on that map, I feel like I wonder if... I don't know if I like standing the top lane, like left. I wonder if that's kind of bad because it's just so pokey. I actually like after I kind of looked at it, I was like, maybe I should play the stairs. Like, what do you think about landing on the
Like here?
stairs there? Yeah, just
Like
like
here?
chill there,
That's all
and
right.
then you
It's
can
all right.
short slam up and just like
Yeah, it
bully
can
them
work.
from there.
Now, the one rule it breaks with an asterisk is that it does potentially pincer you, right? Because you don't, you kind of split the lanes rather than actually picking any extreme.
Yep.
But I think, like, as always, your mileage may vary. Give it a shot. See how it goes. Maybe you use
Makes
the
sense.
stairs and you just play cover on both ends, or maybe you engage from top. It's up to you. Yeah, go for it. Okay. So we're going like far flank here. And you know, the map really gives you that option, right? So if you want to, it's fine. This I don't like. This is one of those moments where, again, I like the setup. It feels pretty risky. You don't really have to go for a flank here, but you did. Okay, that's fine. But then, like, look at where you are. Like, maybe it's due to impartial information, but there has to be some little alarm bells going off in your brain. Where's Ana? Where's Lifeweaver? Right? Like,
Yeah.
they're somewhere. They're not nowhere, right? So, like, you know, you look at this here, and it's like, oh my days. You have empowered punch. You have the hard flank. Now, this is significantly easier than this, as opposed to this versus the Tracer, right? So now it's like not just the punch is better, but like surely something goes off. So it's like, I guess, but then you now even here, you could get slapped, naded, and that's exactly what happens. And so ironically, despite empowered punch, you actually lose the tank trade. Do you see that? Why? Because their diva played cover better than you did because you didn't pincer yourself. Do you see that?
Yeah, and I think and the main like I think the reason like the root cause of it is I think that I felt the need to like do something, like got to do something with this punch, right? And so I was like trying to min max my value, but what I should have done and the best thing I could have done is just do nothing, right?
Just,
like, just
listen, right? Just listen and
walk
look
around the corner.
Yeah.
Because what I was trying to do, so the reason I was even over there in the first place so deep was because I was trying to go with my Tracer. See,
Yeah,
so I saw
I
my
figured.
Tracer over there and I was trying to go with
I
her.
figured.
And then I lost her. I didn't know where she went. And I looked
Yeah.
around and I went, oh, she's probably, I don't know where she went. Maybe she read way out. And I went, well, I got to do something with this punch. And I should have just canceled it. Walked around the corner,
because the
listened,
aspect, the whole point of Tracer is that like you don't always have to necessarily be on the same page with where you're going or what you're doing. You just have to fight, kind of, sort of. So if I look at this Tracer, what this Tracer does is you force the Ana to drop. She forces the Weaver's attention, and also forces the Weaver to drop, right? So she's done you a favor, right? So then you can follow up off of that by actually getting a safe drop here without really a good chance of a pull. Like if you went for right now, there is no pull for this Ana.
That's such a good setup, yeah. And
yeah. So I like the intention there. I like the whole let's work with my Tracer. Let's play off of her timing and play off of her value. You know, okay, sure. Just take again what's given to you. Like this is something that's I feel like has been almost every session that I've done for any character. Like the last month and a half, it's like my new kick, right? Target priority doesn't matter, but my goodness gracious, once you see it, you can't unsee it. Like you can't unsee it. It just feels like all of a sudden your third eye has been open. You're like, oh my gosh, why am I going 50 meters away when there's somebody right next to me, right? And this is just after that last fight of the previous round when you went after the Ana and ignored the diva and then died as a loss of fight as a result, right? So it's like it really truly is a consequence of you know, again, and the funny thing about this is so this entire fight, this is like a butterfly effect here. This entire fight could have shifted if you just made one different decision, which was right here. Instead of going here, walk here. You walk here, all of a sudden we're talking about how to optimize a diva tank trade and taking this angle here and punching out Tracer and forcing her out and then trading on the diva and then slamming here and forcing her out. And yeah, the backline is an oppressive position, but you just completely ruin their frontline trade, right? But it's all done from an angle and with the intention of taking what's given. You decided to go for something really risky on a deep flank. Okay, not always bad. Seems reasonable to me. But then you took that position and then peeled backline. That was the thing, right? And you, to be very clear, you gave us a good reason why. You said, I lost my Tracer and I felt like I had to do something with punch now instead of just reading it. And I think that's obviously, like, that's why we pay you the big bucks, right? Like, I can tell you this is bad. You can tell me why you did it. Okay. Now, you did make space because your setup was good. So there was a chance that this fight was winnable, maybe kind of, sort of. Because you did shove the backline into a locker. Like, the Ana dropping was a consequence of actually you, not your Tracer. Oh, nice. Little bit of a little heart attack there, but we're okay. Ah, it sucks. It's a good try. It's fine. They get first ult. We don't. We lose the trades. Yes, 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 yes. Look at that. Yes, 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 yes. One bad turn deserves another, right? She makes a huge error, and look at this. Now you don't even care who you're going for. Do you go for the 1 HP diva? Do you go for the soldier? Do you go for the life fever? I don't know. Your call. Like, it doesn't matter. You see it? She screwed up massively. So now everybody's out of position in the world's your oyster. You know, again, whatever that means. So there's the defensive nano. She focuses you. You could just empower. Oh, man, that's actually so unfortunate.
She burned me so much faster than I
The
thought.
tracer shot you in the cheeks. Yeah, I think the tracer shot you in the cheeks here. Let's see. Let's see how much damage.
Oh, man.
Yeah, I just think I think you misjudged the break point a little bit.
Yep.
But to be clear, you hit that empowered punch. She's demeched, ults, maybe dies because of where she is, and then you ult. Yeah, this is a perfect. This is fine. This is one of those moments where like you're probably gonna be thinking about, but ultimately it's like you can't look at that and be ashamed of it. It just happens, you know. It was a really, really good setup from you. And notice that stylistically, it was completely different what you did the previous fight, but you stuck with your interpretation well. You said, I'm going to help my tank team retake space using off angles, and you did a phenomenal job. It was really good. And then now here, you're going for a different stylistic choice. Deeper on backline. She's screwed. She should be screwed. And there it is. Yeah, I mean, there wasn't really anything close, so sure. Now it's D.Va, so should deal with the D.Va. Yeah. Yeah, this is fine. Ah. Yeah, okay, good stuff. Yeah, I mean, again, you go deep backline, but you set it up undercover. You didn't get yourself pincered. And so things work, so. Dude, I swear, I appreciate you trying to help your tracer here. I think this is like clearly like she's overextending. I don't even know what she saw. I think this is just pulse bomb brain. Frick, dude, this is pulse bomb brain, isn't it? Yeah. And then your venture is like, oh, I gotta help. Ah, oh, yikes. Okay. Hi, and then we don't. Okay, yeah, that's it. Okay.
that was very anticlimactic ending.
That was very anticlimactic ending. I mean, I think you made the right call. If your tracer makes a mistake, try to help her out. There's a world there where she hits the pulse bomb and lives, and then I mean, you gotta have to try to. I mean, obviously, you would like them to walk into you guys, but you had to go. Yeah, I mean, most of the mistakes.
To stay with the doors, but.
Yeah, I agree. Most of the mistake was take target priority being forced as opposed to what was convenient. And then occasionally in setup phase, you'd pincer yourself in the middle of the enemy team and then get really overwhelmed. But yeah, I think that's mostly it. Let's do some. You down to do some live coaching?
Yeah, totally. Let's do it.
All right, let's do some. I haven't had my next session message me just yet. I've double checked, but I haven't heard from them. So I do have them back to back, but I will keep them updated.
No problem. Just let me know and we can.
Yeah, just go ahead and just start your stream or whatever, and if we run a few minutes over, it's not going to kill us.
If we're on like a overtime Kings Row game, then you just peace out and
sure, that's
your next
fine.
Guy.
And I missed the 7K versus the 5 streamers that you're playing. Yeah.
Yeah. All right, you want to go straight into ranked?
Yeah, let's do it. Let's do it. Let's not worry too much about your mechanical performance because it's going to be goofy, but let's just enjoy the process and focus kind of what we were talking about.
Okay, let me get my audio settings correct.
That's fine. People will say that I'm a little quiet on Discord when they're live streaming, so just kind of keep that in mind.
Got it. Actually, you're quiet for some reason. Or you're loud for some. Oh, that's why. Yeah, 7. Makes more sense.
Okay, I think we're good.
Yeah, you are quiet. Let me turn you up. All right, testing. How's that?
Testing. 1, 2, 3.
Perfect.
Wow, you suck. Wow, you suck. Wow, nice job. 5K. Yeah, just the stuff that you're gonna hear. Yeah. Good news about like that whole like don't pincer yourself kind of clock concept, and then the target priority is dictated by the position that you choose, whether it's more frontline angle or backline angle. That is like if you all of a sudden like snap and you want to become a junk track one trick. Well, guess what? It doesn't matter what character in Overwatch. That is a fundamental concept that applies to all Overwatch characters. So just keep that in mind. So it's one of the more rewarding things, I think, to practice. The little, is it Kokina? I'm probably butchering that bracelet that he wears in the skin. I have the weirdest connection to this like little those seashells. So, did you ever go to? Have you ever heard of this restaurant that it closed down called Sweet Tomatoes or Soup Plantation?
No, I don't think I have.
All right,
Is it a chain?
it was a chain in like southeast like U.S. and in California. It was like some like really high end buffet thing with like soup and salad and stuff, and they had like this like thing was like some like pasta thing with those noodles or whatever. Dude, I freaking love that stuff. So I don't know why that connection just clicked right now, but I'm always
And the
like,
shells make you think.
the shells were like the same thing. So it's like, it's like my 7-year-old brain kicks in for a second. It's like, oh.
Dude, I hate it when a place during COVID, there was like 5 places around me that shut down that were like the greatest restaurants. It
freaking
sucks.
sucked. Yeah, freaking that same thing with
You'll
Sweet
never get
Tomatoes.
it again.
Completely shut down. Yeah, shut down.
I hate that.
All right, let's focus on your setup, whether it's frontline, sideline, and then just kind of shooting what's convenient from there. Don't worry as much about what setup you do. Just don't pincer yourself.
Oh,
That's okay. It's a good try. Just
know
a
that's
question
right
of
there.
like, yeah, it's fine. But I liked what you did. You committed to that angle there, and then kind of just played your CDs from that position. And there's no surprises, right? Don't get too lost in the sauce here, though. Like, as things get chaotic, pick your side and take your side. Oh, this is great. Wait, we're
not
back.
my player.
Wait, it got canceled. Oh no, poor guy.
No.
That guy's like, are you kidding me?
No, that's what it is.
That sucks.
Oops.
Obviously, being reductionist and saying like how you use your cooldowns and the angle doesn't matter is not true. Like I got counter bashed and then they had a really high damage comp. So if I get counter bashed, I get exploded, right? That stuff matters, but we won't worry as much about it here. Second favorite tank behind Doomfist?
Mine?
Yeah.
I've never even thought about it. Let me think about that. Hold on.
Yeah,
Honestly, this is gonna sound really weird, but I was trying to pick up Sigma for the hero bands.
Yeah. It's a good cover pick, I think. The things that Doomfist is struggles versus.
Bad at.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was kind of my thought. But second favorite to play, I played a lot of Diva originally, and I do think. I know Orissa's horrible, but I do think she's funny. She has a big funny factor.
I think this is fun. I like Javelin so much. Javelin's super fun.
Yes, exactly. Like that is funny. Hitting somebody with a javelin just feels very funny. I like that.
She's also like my like
get a big boost for funny value to me.
Yeah. Fair enough. She's also like my like sneaky good character. Like I'm a wizard with those javelins, man. I don't know why. So I'll occasionally be like, we'll be doing pugs. I'm like, yeah, let's just do some javelins, guys. Let's just do some Orisa mirrors, and I always win them. So. I climbed the Masters with her back in the day, before when she was really bad.
Yeah, you sweated that in deathmatch at 2 a.m.
I'm not that evil. Usually. Alright, so, they've got top right. You've got open flank to left, or you can contest top right. That's kind of your choices here.
Oh my god.
What a rat.
Okay, well, that was just nothing I can do. That was pretty good. That was fantastic. Oh, yeah. I didn't even know. Alright.
Yeah, what a rat.
That's fine.
Not finished.
You're only down one here, so you can sniff around. Holy. Yeah, so look at their comp. Look at their backline here. That's what you gotta know. Damage boosted Ashe and Ana. Plus Orisa.
Yep, okay.
Super punishing, but also super punishing, you get what I'm saying? So like
100%.
there it is. Yep. Improve your positioning here. Where's your next angle from here? Yep. And now you can just chill. Look for an opportunity if you want to, but you don't have to force anything. Retake your space. Yep.
Just what I
I would just go for a reset here, yeah. So it was close there. I think what ended up happening at Coast kind of hurt you, but it was a good initial start there. Let's keep that going.
We have high now, which is decent.
Cross to left or deep and right, your choice. Yep, good stuff. Now you have ult. Make it happen from a good engage. Yep. Don't worry about the perk, just kill. Yep. I would extend for this. I would make sure she dies. Okay, let's focus on setup here because they will retake this.
I'm gonna have to. Yeah, I
Yep.
gotta hold space here.
Yep, yep, yep.
No.
Oh, that's
I should've
that's
ulted.
okay. That's okay. That's okay.
Greeted
That's
it.
okay. It was one of those moments.
Unbelievable.
I would have done the same thing.
Yeah.
I would have done the same thing.
I want to get the punch out before my ult hit.
Yeah, I think it was important
That's
that you
on
did
rail.
too. It was important that I think you did too. I think if you don't get the punch off before you die, then I don't think the Ana dies, to be honest there. If it makes you feel
I really
any better.
wanted.
Go back, trust the process, setup. No cheating of the system here. Prove your
I don't want
positioning.
ult though, which is good. Oh.
Yep. 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 Be patient.
Nice. That
Nice
is
job.
so big for us.
Yep, good stuff. Was really good with your rotations there at the end.
Ooh, we didn't use that punch.
That's okay. Only thing I would say with the ult is, like, if there's no sense of urgency with the ult, then there's no sense of urgency with the ultimate. You know what I'm saying? Don't make any unnecessary risk. Just fully regen. Yeah, might as well go for her now. There's nothing else to be doing, so. Okay, commit. Under, top, find your angle and deepen from there.
Oh shit. There we go.
Do you go right? Do you go top? Your choice. Nice. Deepen right.
100%. Yep.
And then decide what you want to do from here. Backline, frontline, your choice. Too far, it's probably not going to work without ult.
Playing it real patient.
Yep. So if they're too far away, you can just play underneath and focus the tank trade from underneath. You get what I'm saying? Because they're so far here.
Yeah. Take top. Let's go, let's go, let's go.
It's fine. Keep calm. Think about your next setup.
I gotta get out. I need to get down there to that doorway. Ah, fuck it, I'm just going.
Sure. Next step. Perk.
I need to not die here.
wise decision.
Yeah, definitely this one.
Yep. And then set up for your angle and use your ult to complement that angle as they touch. Don't force target priority. Whatever comes in this area, whatever you can do from here is your priority.
I like this. This is good.
Yep, do it. There it is.
You are a disgrace.
Next step.
I really
Oh.
would prefer not to use
Oh,
my.
oh,
Oh,
oh.
I should have ulted.
That's okay. That's okay. That's okay.
I didn't want to use it. I should have.
Yeah,
I could've
definitely
cleaned
need it.
up.
That's okay.
Oh wait, our Genji. Wait a minute.
Maybe. I think the Tracer's gonna win that
nah,
one.
they're
1v1.
gonna make it
You
back.
got Valk though. You got Valk. Oh shit. All right, focus on what's close. Focus on what's close. You will need to worry about cart. Sombra first. Tracer next. You need to worry about point here.
Oh, I
That's okay.
dropped it.
That's
I tried
okay.
to hit the Ana
That's
to
okay.
push her off.
So your initial rotations were really smooth up until second point. Then you got really
Yeah.
messy and really did a poor job of it. And
Okay.
to be fair to you, it's because the map becomes a lot more complex and a lot more open. So it demands a lot more creativity and experience for you. If we're going to talk about the replay code, owreplays.tv, okay? What I would want you to do is I want you to go back and watch only your second point attack and how you rotated and set up based off of how they positioned. There was
Okay.
too much forcing high ground when they were on high ground because everything felt like 6 million miles away. And then when they abandoned high ground, you also weren't really sure exactly what to do with how they were playing. So I could sit here and tell you exactly what you should have done. Oh, well, you need to play underneath. Well, then you need to rotate here, and then don't force the Ana. Instead, take the tank trade, and then try to force the Orisa from behind. Just go back and watch it. Just that particular section where you weren't really sure
Okay.
how you're supposed to rotate, and ask yourself only where could I have rotated based off of their positioning. That's it.
Think too, like something I might do too much is like go for where they are, and maybe something I should do is try to like infect where they are not. You know?
Sure.
Like I don't know, like instead of just like jumping high,
Yeah.
like I could have just like slowly walked around there, and just I don't know.
Yeah. I'm gonna force you to be creative about it when you look at the replay later.
Yeah.
You've committed kind of left here, so you need to deal with left. Okay, then maybe right. You can cross if you want to, but
Just
yeah,
don't
you
really
have
like playing up there a lot.
I understand. Yeah, but you do need to take an angle here because now you're stacked. You need to be top left or far right.
Oh my god.
Yep. This is still your lane. Sojourner's the other lane. Don't back up.
No.
Close. Obviously, punch needed to land. You were in a 4v5 there, so that's one of those situations when you're in a 4v5 and you make a mechanical error, you don't win, you lose. But I mean, it was good. Like, you could kind of see you holding that right is the only reason that was even remotely winnable.
No takers? No takers?
Almost. fall off. Do you commit right or do you play left here? Your choice.
I think I want to go right with my Genji.
Okay. This is fine. You got pressure on main. You can hold right still.
Ah,
It's okay. Same problem as your attack. There's a lot of indecision about where you should hold, and it reflects in your gameplay and like the quality of what you're doing. That's okay though. We still have another engagement here. I want you to commit to your side. Top left, bottom right, your choice. Sure. Hold if you need to.
Low.
Meteor strike.
Yep. Good job. Nice job. Go and get your perk here. So don't overemphasize card here for too long. Think about same kind of thing. Where's my lane? Where's my setup? Am I contesting top here? Am I playing underneath?
Top. I want top.
Works for me.
I think Genji wants to blade here. Yeah, he does.
Fine.
Please, let's go.
Nice shot. And you see how a lot of that almost resembled a tank trade, right? Like you just kind of held that Orisa there because you just had this, because you have the superior mobility, so it's really uncomfortable for her to walk into you, you know, and that's kind of what we're looking for here. Okay, let's rethink about our setup. Check your backline. Where's your backline positioned? Okay, keep that in mind with how you set up.
Ooh, I wanted to let that flam hit.
Yep, it was good.
I'm gonna commit on that.
Yep,
Fury.
sure, go for it. Don't greed this.
No, I did.
It's okay. It's okay. No. You guys still might be okay.
Let's go.
Kitsune Rush is really good.
Please, baby. You guys can do it.
Good tree, good Kitsune. That'll buy you time. Be disciplined here. Alright, let's go. Might need to drop on point here.
No.
That's okay. That's okay.
Oh, I played that so poorly at the
That's
end.
okay. That's okay. It's okay. It was really close. I think it's encouraging to note like how close it was despite that. I mean, what was that? 3 deaths with hold. that's
I know. I greed my ult so bad.
That's my level of greed. That was that's impressive. Play the game though. That's all that matters.
Not agree. Yeah. Right. Yeah.
Yeah,
Watch it. All right.
Hey, let's go.
Game. That was close.
Let me double check to make sure that this guy isn't. Okay,
no, this is horrible.
Okay, so
Slowest I've been in a minute.
nah, it's okay. It happens. Considering like the way to always look at it is just like considering how you played, which was moments of brilliance, also moments of sheer mediocrity, and dare I say even worse than that sometimes. Like the fact that you're still in that threshold there is it's like should be encouraging, you know. So I really want you to focus on all of your second attack and the first fight on second defense, how you set up, and crucially here, what angle, what lane, what space, short range usually, right, are you controlling, and are you sticking with that? And what I mean by that is when you choose that position, are you winning that position or forcing a favorable cooldown trade? If Tracer runs into you, are you forcing her recall? Are you getting her out? Are you forcing the Orisa to fortify and Javelin spin you, or are you just kind of there late? When the enemy team rotates, are you moving accordingly? Because I think, and you know, spoiler alert here, that's where your value was most egregiously poor. We can look back and go, oh, I misplayed my ult, I should have used this, I should have used that, and I think you're 100% right. Those are mechanical errors. Those are things that you need to get better at. But from my perspective, the things that really concerned me in terms of like let's say, ignorance, right, were those moments, those particular moments.
Okay, and so you think I switch lanes too much?
I don't think you switched lanes too much necessarily. I think you didn't have a lane or didn't know what to do at all.
Okay.
I think you looked very lost on second attack and early second defense. You would control top right, then they went bottom left, and you really didn't know what to do with yourself. You just kind of stood there awkwardly. You let Tracer walk right by you, and then didn't contest her, and then also did not contribute on the tank trade on the choke either. You just were there. And then conversely, on the second attack, you realize that, oh man, high ground feels really uncomfortable to push here, and then promptly basically did nothing for about 30, 45 seconds. You're right. Second point, high ground's really hard to contest at that long distance. You're not a distance character. You're not a Widowmaker that can contest that sight lane for your team. But you have to find some way of closing the distance that doesn't involve you inting with cooldowns. And plot twist, there is a way to do it. Some of it involves the objective. Some of it involves using your verticality. Some of it involves kind of abusing different people. I'm going to let you figure that one out. So what I want you to do is, we'll end the review, whatever. I want you to go back and watch it and take notes. And if there's any point where you're like, I really don't know, just let me know.
Okay, we'll do.
But I want you to sweat it out just a little bit in those particular points because, a lot of it is going to be a map problem. But let's be honest, like that happens a lot with Doomfist. Like not every map is going to be perfectly comfortable. So when you were comfortable with your rotations, first point attack was a big one. Even late second point defense, you felt really comfortable with how you were positioning. And you felt it, right? It just felt like, play staircase, play cover, wrap underneath. Everything looked really cozy. As soon as things got uncomfortable, things got really bad. Look at those things. Beyond that, I wouldn't worry too much. I do think the ult greed is a bit of a problem because we saw it once or twice in the replay too.
Yep.
So you need to know. Like the reason I was saying don't greed versus the Kiriko is not because you shouldn't greed a Kiriko. It's because you were literally 58 HP. I think like 58. Like I think like that's something that you have to be aware of. The Diva one, like earlier, Nano Diva, you're 250 HP, you get clipped by Emongg from behind. I get it, Even I think the one versus the Ana even was like, okay, I understand. But a couple of those were like, I mean, come on, like that was egregiously bad. You were low HP for a long time and you still didn't use it. So okay,
absolutely.
Any questions?
No, I think this is great. I'm trying to sum up the points of like stuff I want to work on.
Yes.
I'm gonna go look at those 2 points. You said second point on defense and attack. Did you say?
Second point attack almost completely, the entire thing basically.
Okay.
Second point defense only the first fight. Everything else looked comfortable because you lost first fight so badly that then you were put immediately into another comfortable position.
Okay. Second point defense, first fight. Got it. Okay.
For context of what we're looking for, it was target priority based off of convenience and setting up in a way that doesn't get you pincered.
Okay.
Those are the things.
Setting up in a way that doesn't get you pincered. All right.
Yeah. Okay. What might be good for context is what you did on first point attack. On honestly a couple fights in a row. Whether it was going left or going right, felt pretty smooth.
Okay.
It's easier geographically.
Yeah.
But second point, it is a little bit more open, but there's still solutions, and you just gotta be smart enough to find them. So, all right, mate.